Welcome. It's another episode of the Gary and Mark Show.
Man, where does time go?
I don't know.
And who are you?
I'm Gary.
And I am Mark.
And this is the Gary and Mark Show.
It is. And we are podcasting today, not live, but we're alive at
Saluda Outfitters.
Right in on the outskirts of downtown Saluda.
On the
a little bit.
outskirts.
Yep,
Yeah.
on the outskirts. Easy to find, great store, and they are the home of. Look at that sign over there. No, not big, Gary.
Not big. Okay, Green River Eddy's Tap Room.
Yes, Green River Eddy's Tap Room. We're glad to be welcome back. We've podcasted now at 3 different locations, and every single person has said, please come back.
Yes.
Bring your money, but please come back.
Yes.
And this episode is brought to you, as before, by Big Wiz Pocket Buddy and
Rabbit Island Resorts, LLC.
That's our latest sponsor. We're glad to have both of those with us. And we want you to know that if you would like to sponsor us, it does not take a lot, does it?
No, pennies a day.
Pennies a day, and you're in. You're in. Be the cool crowd.
Be part of the team.
So Gary and I were talking about some people call us senior citizens, and it's a bit of a shock sometimes. And I guess we were talking about, when did you first realize, Gary, that you were indeed a senior citizen?
Well, I would say one of the times it really hit me was when I was standing beside a bunch of 20-year-old women. I'm guessing they were 20. And I was invisible.
And where was Barbara, which would be his wife at this time?
I'm sure she was doing something important. She wasn't around. I was unchaperoned, and I just happened to be in town, and I was standing next to these young ladies and realized that I was invisible.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think that one of the first times I realized it was must have been like at Bojangles or Wendy's or someplace, and without asking, I got the senior citizens discount. And I realized, that's not a bad thing, actually, but saved 10% or whatever, but made me think, oh my gosh, I looked that old to those people?
Well, this might be where we offer some advice to those of you who are approaching our age. And
that's old.
And, when I was younger, I like to just wear old beat-up clothes, but when you're older and you do that, you get typecast.
That's true.
I think a couple of weeks ago in a Bojangles in Bryson City after a 4-day backpacking trip, I changed in some clothes that I keep in the trunk because I'd just gotten off this backpacking trip. There'd been a downpour. I keep these old beater clothes in the trunk. I had them on, and my backpacking buddy, he's 25 years younger than me, and there we are at Bojangles, and I told her I wanted a biscuit, and he said what he wanted, and she looked at me and looked at him, and she figured out a way that we could both get what we wanted, and it would save us 40 cents, and I could see she was really staring at me, and then I went to the bathroom to wash my hands and looked in the mirror and saw an old homeless man.
Mm-hmm.
Disheveled hat that was kind of smashed. I had a checkered, torn shirt and plaid shorts. Now, you should never mix plaids with checks.
Wait a minute. I do that all the time.
You can do that.
Oh, people can't see, but I'm wearing my check shirt right now.
Yeah, but you got on your solid colored pants.
Well, that's a rarity, yes.
But you can do this if you're under 40, and you can rock that look. But if you're old, they're going to be concerned. I think she thought that this younger man had taken pity on me and decided to get me a biscuit before taking me back to the home.
That would be kind of a nice thing, I guess. Nice
Yeah.
for her to think that. Well, another time I know I was feeling old was when I found myself at CVS, starting to stare at the old people's counter, looking at the home urinals.
Yeah.
Depends sections and things.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, one day I'm going to need that. I'm glad this drugstore has this stuff here. But and you had a surgery recently. That's kind of one of those old people things. What was that about?
A new hip.
Okay.
Yeah, and that went well. And that's the youngest part of my body.
And and he has been backpacking since having that done. That's impressive.
Yes, I'm slow. I'm light and slow. I'm not light and fast.
And I've had both my eyes, cataracts, fixed.
Yeah?
You haven't had that yet, have you, Gary?
No, not yet.
That was a great operation. But I'll tell you when I felt the oldest was about 3 years ago. I was taking kids on this trip, and we were in, I think it was West Virginia at the time. I can't remember. Anyhow, I had to take this boy to see a doctor, and he's like 11 years old, and I'm thinking I'm like 30, but I'm 60-something. I'm not paying any attention, so I'm walking with the kid. He's in a wheelchair because it's a hospital. You have to do that, And all of a sudden, this nurse, she's going to take him into an X-ray room or something, or somewhere, another test, and she looks at the kid and says, "Do you want your grandpa to go in with you?" I turned around and I looked behind me and I said, there better be someone old behind me. And there wasn't.
Yeah.
She was talking about me, and I realized I am indeed old enough to be a grandfather. And you are. No, you're not a grandfather yet, but you've got two grown children.
Yeah, and I've got a grand cat.
You do have a grand cat. That's the one with diabetes. He
Yes.
takes insulin a couple times
Twice a day.
Twice a day.
See, you're getting old when you're giving shots to your old cat.
And that's a good thing you're doing. Or some people wouldn't do that. So,
or you're sitting in the dentist's office thumbing through Arthritis magazine.
That's about all they have there.
Well, I got to think about when I was a kid, I got Boy's Life, and so it's a magazine designed for boys. So I wondered, is there a magazine designed for old men, and what would the name of it be?
It's the AARP journal.
Well, that's for men and women, but
Okay.
just for men. Would it be like the Prostate Times, the Prostate Journal?
That, you know what? We will have to go there on another episode.
Yeah.
So it has been fun today, Gary.
It has.
We've got some guests coming up on our show.
We do. We've got guests.
And we hope you'll invite your friends to listen in, to share, and download our podcast. And so you are?
I'm Gary.
And I am Mark.
And we're the Gary and Mark Show.
We'll see you in the next episode.